What's going on, guys? Man, I'm so happy today because now I can make longer videos for you guys, so we can react to big videos.
He originally decided just to continue with his regular programming. He then realised that everybody outside of his little bubble of people who he hangs around with weren't just fuming, but were basically just calling for the end of his career. He released a public apology on Twitter first, which was fairly interesting, as it definitely seemed like something he was forced into, and that was pretty apparent by the fact that it came across like he'd put no thought into it at all. And this originally brings on the biggest problem I have with apology videos, is the fact that an apology video in itself seems like a key to getting out of jail with no consequences. It doesn't matter what you've done, and it doesn't matter who you are. YouTubers who have come out after wild sexual assault allegations have just done a quick little tweet, or a tweet longer, or a very, very short YouTube apology video. I don't believe he's innocent. I don't think he's innocent at all. And the people who already love him eat it up. He's realised that what he did was wrong. He didn't mean to do that horrific thing that he's done, because he acknowledged that he did it. Which kind of implies that those videos or those tweets were going to be made if nobody called them out for it. But the fact that acknowledging your mistakes is almost good enough for people to just say, oh well, fair enough, just leave him be. It's time that our foot is put down.
I couldn't have said it any better myself.
First, Levy did a video on Pokemon. Wait, no, not first. It was H3. H3 did a video on King. Then we got Pokemon, low-key. Leafy did videos on. And now we got Catalyst doing videos on ImAllexx. This world is...
Alex, you really hit the nail on the head. It is time we start putting our foot down, because half-assed apologies really aren't good enough.
Nope.
But Alex can't even give one of those. Today we will find out whether the internet sensation continues to make false allegations. Shocker, I know. But this person we're talking about today isn't an influencer, isn't a big YouTuber, so Alex was probably banking on the fact that you guys would never find out about it. Because even as Slazzo himself will rightfully point out in my upcoming interview with him...
Pause this for a little bit, because I need to talk, y'all. Like, to me, never, ever trust a celebrity, bro. That's with every celebrity. Now, some of them are good people. Others are fucking good people. And they can use, and they're using that goodness for more clout, more fucking fans to come to their shit.
It's a common tactic Alex uses.
With Alex, I think his usual response to these kind of things is to kind of don't respond to it. Usually it goes away.
Oh, can you smell the delicious irony of a man who...
Meditate with your screen locked. Start a free trial of YouTube Premium. Unwind uninterrupted.
Now I'm gonna stop pausing that one time.
who made a name for himself and continues to criticize others for a living, like me, but he can't even bring himself to apologize to people he has wronged. To Alex, as long as he thinks he can get away with it, he will avoid apologizing at all costs. So Alex went on True Geordie's Christmas podcast and slated my now manager, Christian Sturt, in front of over 1.3 million people with zero evidence, no facts at all, simply because he heard a rumour and decided to run his mouth again and nearly screwed over Christian's business that he has been building in this space for years. But somehow Alex still hasn't learned his lesson from Slazzo. You would think nearly ruining a man's life with false accusations would be a huge kick up the arse. Seems not. So in the clip I'm about to show you, Alex is talking about Christian Sturt. He is the director of Colossal Influence. It's an influencer marketing agency that helps creators like myself to find brand deals. They take a little cut because they help to actually get the brand deals. So in the UK, there was an MMA event run for influencers that was ran by a company named Fame MMA. Christian, being a talent agent, was used by Fame MMA to reach out to influencers to see if they wanted to fight. He was a freelancer who just got a cut. He wasn't paid by Fame MMA. He got a cut like he would if he negotiated me a brand deal. I can personally confirm this was Christian's only job because he reached out to to me to get a fight. We tried to arrange a fight. However, we couldn't reach an agreement. That was his job. That was it. So the event moves forward in England, and it is a massive flop. And at the time, there were rumours that influencers who fought weren't getting paid. Now, this makes big news behind the scenes in the UK, because a lot of creators were reached out to fight on this event. So a lot of people knew about this event, and suddenly everyone's hearing that these people aren't getting paid, even though they have fought. People were looking for someone to point the finger at, because this event was essentially trying to scam the creators. Now, anyone with half a brain realised it's Fame MMA's responsibility, the people who are actually running the event, to pay the fighters. But there were no actual names associated with this scam until ImAllexx goes on True Geordie's Christmas podcast and makes Christian out to be the reason he didn't get involved in the event and the guy who was essentially scamming all these creators.
I want to say this to ImAllexx, bro. I know you probably ain't gonna watch this video because I'm a small ass YouTube. I got 100 subscribers now. Thank y'all very much for it. But here's what I gotta say to ImAllexx, bro. Take a break off YouTube, bro. Like, that's what everybody, bro. Take a break off YouTube. You really need it, bro. You really do. Because if you're doing all this shit that Camos is calling you out for, you just need to take a week. Not take a day. Take a week. The same thing with this one person I told to take a whole day off of stuff.
She wasn't like actually fighting Camos. That wasn't the problem. It was the fact that it was like arranged by the bloke who arranged it.
Christian Stewart.
Christian Stewart is full of shit. So that's what we did.
Bitch. It's because the person that Camos was supposed to fight didn't even. J-Stay shit, I'm gonna tell you this. J-Stay shit is a whole ass pussy, right? How you not going? Oh, you want to fight Keemstar, but when another guy challenges you to fight, you not gonna fight him back? That tells you you're a pussy.
It is.
Look, we've said behind closed doors. Well, no, ImAllexx talking the most shit while claiming another man is full of shit. You honestly can't actually write this. How can you be so dumb to think that a talent manager is the one who has to pay all these fighters? This was uploaded on Christmas Day, this True Geordie podcast, and Christian explains the aftermath of what Alex said when he went on Jack Mate's Happy Hour podcast. He said, that he didn't want to get involved because I was full of shit. Now, that podcast is going out to several 100,000 people on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So Christmas evening, when I'm watching it and sitting there, I've had a message and I didn't really know what it was about. And then I start getting messages from people saying, you're a fraud, you need to quit the industry, get out.
On Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day. At Christmas night when everyone's asleep. And I'm sitting in the corner watching the podcast lonely because I love the podcast and I watch the podcast. And I was like, shit. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But then Will said it's nothing that we haven't spoken about behind closed doors, which is a comment that I would still love him to justify, because I'm fully aware, having worked with a number of creators who I've become friends with, I would have classed us as friends.
Yeah.
People have told me what has been said about me behind my back.
Yeah.
None of it is true.
Yeah.
None of it is true, and it is painful to me as somebody that sees themselves as so genuine and I know that's a bit egotistical, but I know how I work.
Yeah.
I will drop my percentage to 0 if it benefits a creator because they can't get on a roll. I will do that without thinking.
Yeah.
And then people turn around saying that I'm some sort of kingpin that's conning people out of money. And then just General Joe Blogs was messaging me saying I got a death threat. I got told to kill myself several times. It was just, and that really piled on me at that point. That wasn't a particularly nice time. And you have to understand, in an industry such as being a talent manager, influencer marketing, your reputation is everything. If you get accused of scamming multiple influencers like Christian did, who the hell would work with you? You could kiss your career goodbye. And to that point, I was kind of going up, and that hit. And all of a sudden, I feel like I'm at 0 again.
Yeah.
And it was
It was an emotional, sad time.
Christian's name was getting dragged through the mud.
I was sitting there on Christmas Day thinking, I'm a nice guy. My whole world's crumbling around me.
Yeah.
Because of an event that I had no control over.
So Christian contacted Alex and told him to fix what he said and ultimately make an apology.
So Alex kind of apologised?
So I messaged him.
Yeah.
And I said, you're wrong. And I was pretty stern in what I said. I said to him, you need to address this now.
And would you believe me if I told you from Christmas Day to now, Alex still has not said sorry to Christian. After Christian contacted Alex to rectify his mistakes, Alex went on his second channel. He hadn't uploaded on for months. It was a dead channel.
So he goes onto his defunct second channel and he puts out a video that reaches 40,000 people.
I didn't even know he had a second channel.
Yeah. It was his podcast channel, and then he switched it, and then there hadn't been a video on there for a couple of months, and then he put this video up. It was seen by 40,000 people.
To hide it from his main fan base, only got 50,000 views compared to the 1.3 million people that watched him say that on True Geordie's podcast. But get ready to see probably the biggest joke of an apology I think I've ever seen.
I actually want to talk about the MMA briefly because I spoke about it on the True Geordie podcast, which I did again. I don't think I even necessarily know if I even shared that necessarily, but if you haven't seen it, there's the True Geordie podcast. And one of the things that we talked about on there was the MMA, because the MMA was mental. There was so much stuff going on around the MMA, stuff to do with being asked to fight and all of that crazy mental stuff that I would die, and I don't want to. I want to do more podcast episodes in 2019, although that may be contrary to popular belief. But there's a lot of drama around the MMA as well. And of course there would be, same with the boxing. One of the things I wanted to quickly say is that if you did watch the True Geordie podcast, there's a big difference between Fame MMA, the people who were running the boxing, and Kristen Stewart, who was the guy who manages the talent and asked me if I wanted to fight, so on and so forth. Because there was a lot of rumours about the fact that people weren't getting paid. And that's obviously not good, because you don't want to get...
Hold up. Asking you to fight. Oh my ass off, bro. And you. I don't understand a person like Camos, because Camos is that dude looks like a fighter, but you.
Shit kicked out of you and not got paid for it. But that was all stuff that came from the Fame MMA side of it, and Fame MMA and Christian are not the same thing, so I wouldn't want people to get confused in any way, shape or form with that, just to basically get it out of the way and explain it so people don't misdirect anything like that, because there was fights and fighters who were started rumours about the fact that they didn't know if they were necessarily even going to get paid for any of it.
Even for Alex, this is downright pathetic, right? This is offensively bad. Where is the sorry or an actual apology? All we are watching him doing in that clip is try and weasel his way around admitting his mistake. He was clearly trying to hide it from anyone finding out so that he would avoid getting criticised for it, because he knows he f***ed up.
I don't want people to get confused in any way, shape or form with that.
Alex, you are the only reason anyone got confused.
Kristen Stewart is for shit, so I know that's why I'm doing. It is. I don't want people to get confused in any way, shape or form with that.
You're the one who spread the false claims and involved Christian's name into the narrative. How does he have the audacity to think he can flip it like that? Christian said on Jack Mate's podcast that the apology, he didn't obviously find it good enough. Who would? But because of all the mental stress he was caused by all of this, and Alex being a bigger YouTuber, he couldn't be bothered to fight it.
Why were you okay with him doing that? Because it's like when somebody call out somebody as like a pedo on the front page of a newspaper, and then the correction is on page 17 at the bottom.
I wasn't willing for my mental health to take it any further.
Let's remind ourselves, what is it again Alex said at the start of this video about apology videos?
It kind of implies that those videos or those tweets were going to be made if nobody called them out for it. But the fact that acknowledging your mistakes is almost good enough for people to just say, oh well, fair enough, just leave him be. It's time that our foot is put down.
So what does that make you, Alex, when you can't even acknowledge your own mistakes.
I don't want people to get confused.
And worst of all, you still haven't, and Christian is owed an apology from you. And like you said from your own mouth, it wouldn't mean shit because we're forcing you to.
Kind of implies that those videos or those tweets were going to be made if nobody called them out for it.
However, Christian, as a talent manager in a business where reputation is everything, he is owed that from you. He deserves his name to be properly cleared by the man who caused him personally and his business so much grief. So can I get you guys to join in with a hashtag #ApologizeAlexx on Twitter? Tweet that out. Let us see if we can get Christian the apology he deserves. Christian is one of the most genuine guys I've worked with in this industry. And if you watch that full episode of Jack Mate's Happy Hour podcast with Christian, you'll fully understand how much of a genuine guy he is and got screwed over by Alex. And I know for a fact these false rumors that have been spread still upset and affect him because they've never truly been taken away by Alex. But while we're at it, let's talk about other situations that show Alex to be the rampant, dangerous liar that he is. The Perez Hilton incident. Now, regardless of your feelings on Perez Hilton, I don't know too much about him. I know people just don't like him in general. But Alex hops in a video and insinuates that the man is a pedo because Perez, who has been a gossip reporter all his life, is reporting on Charli D'Amelio, the world's biggest TikTok star. Shout out to my boy Comment Pop, who made a great video who summarizes this perfectly.
Charli posted a video today in a bikini dancing to that song. I can't take big dick, but I'll suck on it. Yeah, I'm a boomer. I think it's inappropriate for a 15-year-old to be dancing in a bikini like that to that song.
This man, who you see in this video, is attacking Charli D'Amelio, another TikToker, who's 15. And he's attacking her because she went to the beach.
And yes, we're talking Charli.
Bitch, did this man say because she went to the beach? I'm Alex. It's more worse than that, my guy. He's not attacking him for going to the beach. He's attacking her. He's attacking her because, my nigga, look what she's doing.
D'Amelio.
And yes, I'm obsessed over a 15-year-old girl. Is that upset you? Does that weird you out? Well, unlucky, I've got to keep on doing it. Because that's what somebody would do, wouldn't they? You know, if the police go, oh mate, maybe you shouldn't hang around schools. You don't go, hey, back at the school again. You stay away. Well, how do I go in from there? How do I start? With a prison sentence? Maybe. I'm just suggesting it. I'm just gonna throw that one out there. For 25 years.
You're a
to life.
complete moron. Just telling you that.
Yeah, that's a real video, by the way. As him reacting to some, like, bloke gyrating and dancing like an adult again. Where's his parents at? Oh, well, Perez is making a video with his shirt off.
Okay, yeah.
Duetting a kid. That's what he's doing. With his shirt off. Duetting a kid. That's what he's doing. It doesn't mean that you're any less weird for having an obsession over this 15-year-old's life, especially when you yourself are posting these very sexual videos involving like 20-year-old kids. Like 20-year-old kids. Like 20-year-old kids.
Did Alex apologise to Perez Hilton for this? Of course he didn't. Perez Hilton is generally a disliked figure, so people weren't pressuring him to dislike because apparently you can go around and insinuate people are pedos for doing the exact same job as you and that you have done in the past, Alex, because you yourself have also reported on 15-year-old girls. There's nothing wrong with it. I've talked about people like Lil Tay. It's the way you handle it, but you're allowed to report on big stars. It's even more hilarious because Alex, the hypocrite who has no spine or backbone, had the exact same opinion as Perez only a year prior to Danielle Cohen.
He made a video saying, oh, she's too sexy, so her parents should be ashamed. And yeah, there's weird stuff posted on TikTok, but wearing a bathing suit, that's what people wear to the beach. If you go to a beach, you'll probably see loads of people of all ages wearing a bathing suit.
Yeah, you look a little like an 18-year-old girl in this picture.
But she's not an 18-year-old girl, is she? So she shouldn't be posting stuff online.
I'm Alex. You need yourself to look like a complete dumbass. Sorry guys, we're not paying attention to the video because I'll make my own
Just me?
Twitter.
I think Charlie's a sweet girl and talented. My real issue is with her parents.
And it's not Danny's fault. And she shouldn't be the one who gets the blame. You shouldn't hate Danny Cohn. That's ridiculous. But the mum, feel free to put all the blame on her. She's a responsible adult.
Why'd the dad and the mom leave that video up? I would have made my daughter take it down.
She shouldn't be
Hell yeah.
trying to
My daughter
encourage this behaviour, which currently is all she's doing.
So again, Alex hasn't said sorry to Perez. Now with the Slazzo situation, I have some knowledge that has never been made public, as far as I'm aware, about Alex's apology to Slazzo. If you don't know, if you haven't caught up about Alex, I suggest you watch my previous videos to really get the full context. But Alex pushed false sexual assault allegations on one of his own friends that turned out to be false. When the claims were proven to be false, Alex doubled down on them.
I don't believe he's innocent. I don't think he's innocent at all.
And it took him weeks, almost a month, to make an apology. This was Alex's public apology. You would think with all these paragraphs, the word sorry would make it in there somewhere. Not at all. Alex couldn't even muster up the words "I'm sorry" when he almost ruined another man's life. Then on top of this awful apology, he went on True Geordie's podcast again and attempted to shift all the blame and claim he was peer pressured into backstabbing and making false claims about his friend.
The stuff that happened with me, it wasn't just like, oh, my mate got accused of some really terrible things and then like confronted him. It was like, no, 20 other full-time YouTubers went, if you don't go this way, we all think it's this way.
Yeah.
They go, you know, like you've got to really join in on this side. Like this is the way that it's like, this is the way you think it's going to go. And you're not thinking it going, oh man, there's a lot to gain from this. Nobody's ever thinking that.
Slazzo were going to come forward. Shay never makes a response video. New victims never come forward because, as we all know to this day, the accusations against Slazzo are false. So even when Alex knew he was wrong, after saying he would apologise, he held out, crossed his fingers and prayed that his friend was this horrible person that he falsely accused him of being. After that, Clown goes back to Alex and demands he apologises again, puts Slazzo on the phone with Alex, where after being pressured twice, Alex finally apologises to Slazzo. So Christian hasn't got an apology. Perez Hilton never got an apology. Slazzo, it took over...
Perez Hilton, that famous... Bro, Hilton, if you're that famous, nigga, you should take down this nigga's... not nigga, but this guy, Alex's channel. You should take down Alex's channel if you're that famous. But I know you're not going to do that because, you know, it might make you look way more worse than ever.
3 weeks to get a public apology. He had to be pressured into apologising to Slazzo twice. And if you remember Zaptai, whose allegations Alex handled again dreadfully, Alex has still not apologised or even acknowledged his poor handling of that situation. Are we starting to notice a pattern here with Alex? I hope so. I hope you level-minded people can see Alex thinks he can get away with anything. Alex thinks that he is untouchable. But with this most recent case that came to light, we can clearly see he's done his best to try and hide this, put it under the carpet, sweep it under the rug. And you know what the punchline to this whole video is? This man still makes a video criticising other people, judging other people, when he himself is quite possibly one of the worst people on this platform, and one of the most dangerous people, considering how many people's lives he's almost flipped upside down. So hashtag apologise to Alex on Twitter. And another thing I want to say, any UK YouTubers, any influencers who actually hold Alex accountable, because he really does need to be held accountable, massive respect. And I want everyone who watches this video to see any UK influencers who tweet out about this. If they do, I don't have high hopes, because the UK generally shield Alex, make him out.
Bro, that guy that he showed the dude doing the ab shit in the picture, then Perez Hilton, Perez Hilton, the guy that Perez Hilton was looking at, bro, that nigga's like 24. You acting like fucking 24 is like young, bro. At the age of 25, to me, I see as 25 as you being like a whole person. Like you're not this young teenager no more. You're a fucking grown adult at 25. You're a whole grown ass adult. So it doesn't matter if you do. You could sleep with an old man and I don't give a shit. But honestly, I'll see y'all later, bro. Cameras, bro. You know, I wish I could react to you a little bit more. But I'm trying to see if this video gets long. I'll see y'all guys later.